Okay, so we bought this at one of those discount stores. So we won't be able to link the actual nifty little borosilicate teapot, but I bet we'd be able to find you a substitute.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, and we decided and we can link you the spot tea.
Yes.
And even if we can't link you this right here, we thought it would be fun to do maybe some Gaiwan brewing in this.
This would be good for blooming teas. Sometimes you get those teas that sort of evolve, so we'll do that.
I want to get a blooming tea now.
But this one that we got has 6 kinds of tea, 3 little cubes each.
So we're going to try Jasmine, mango, there's another mango, and Bai Mu Dan. Now I need to find another Bai Mu Dan and another mango. Okay.
Green tea setting here on this. So you can put 2 servings of the first one in there, which was this first one.
So first we're doing mango.
So it's in this little triangle thing. And then it's wrapped in that, and then there's a bag in that. And it smells like...
It's kind of like a waste. It's kind of like a waste of materials to have it in a square and then have it in a piece of plastic.
Well, it did make it light impervious, so that's nice that it protected it from the light while it was sitting there in that bright store.
Yeah, but they could have just left it with just this. Ooh, it goes up in that too.
Yeah. Now this does not have a filter on it, so you can't really Gaiwan brew unless you somehow filter it.
Which we can filter ours using one of our many teapot things. So
yeah, we've got another teapot with the filter that fits down in here so that you could do a whole brewing of it.
So what I'm going to do is putting the lid on, and then also I thought it would be fun to keep this little plastic thing on to get all of the steam in there and really brew it.
And it doesn't say how much it is, but it looks like it's about a quart.
Ooh, that looks pretty.
So read the directions on the mango tea.
Directions. Ingredients. Organic green tea, natural mango flavor. That's not right. There are no directions.
Thought I saw some directions. But it's a green tea, so you're going to do it for about 2 minutes. If you don't want to overbrew green tea, it gets bitter really quickly. You can see the color. Yeah, you take that off.
I had it on so that it would really infuse.
Very light green.
So one of my favorite tea YouTubers, Mayleaf, actually, they have one of these for Gaiwan brewing. I feel like, if they had a small enough spout on this thing, that could do it, but...
We may try that at some point.
We may.
So it's...
Oh, sorry.
It's a light smell.
Ooh, I
lightly
like it.
mango.
Yeah, I do like it, though.
This one will not overpower.
Ooh.
Fresh.
It's a very kind of like what you'd expect at a 4-year-old's tea party. And I know because I used to have tea parties with my mother as a 4-year-old, and I would grab some chocolate chips and some almonds from the pantry. I'd stick them on a plate. I'd brew the only tea we had at the moment, which was either peppermint or jasmine. I'd stick it in there. Sometimes we'd have mango, so I'd use that. I'd stick it in there into little tiny doll cups, or into a little tiny doll teapot, and then I'd stick them in there. They'd brew. We'd pour it in, and then we'd have tea.
Okay, I got to talk about the mouthfeel of this one. It's got a fuzzy navel feel. You know how a peach is fuzzy?
Ooh.
Can you feel the fuzziness of it?
That feels like I've just stuck a peach down my throat.
And mangoes, I don't know if they're related to peaches, but they kind of smell like them.
Oh, that is kind of...
This is more like peach than it is like mango.
This is leaving like a residue, kind of ticklish feel right here.
Right there on her hard palate. Near her alveolar ridge.
I don't even know what that is. She's a speech therapist. She'll know.
So behind your teeth, there's a bumpy part on your hard palate. And that's your alveolar ridge. And that's where you put your tongue, yes, to make T's and D's. Touch it. Don't delay.
Don't delay.
In touching your alveolar ridge.
Delay. Yeah, it's really hard to say that when you don't have your tongue up there.
Yeah. Otherwise, and then you got a problem. You got to touch your alveolar ridge to make the sounds you want to make.
Which is why in medieval times they would cut out your tongue if you said something really offensive.
You don't want that.
Because
life will not go well for you.
You wouldn't be able to swallow either.
Aside from the pain and the infection risk, you just aren't going to be able to swallow well.
Yeah,
and you won't be able to talk. You can swallow with just the back of the tongue, but it's much harder.
And if they try to cut out your entire tongue, they might as well shove it down your throat.
All the things you didn't know that you were going to learn today.
Including, you know how we stretch our backs to pop them? In medieval times, that was called a torture. They would stick you on a flat wooden board, and they'd pull you out, and it would pop your back. And I guess they thought that that was really painful, but it actually feels pretty good.
I just don't know what to say. Okay, and so it's now more going toward bitter.
That's made my tongue kind of numb.
Yeah.
Interesting. There's a definite tongue-numbing effect right there.
Yeah. As far as the taste, light and lightly sweet. It's
again,
not
4-year-old's tea party.
Not strong.
Just if you've ever had a tea party as a young child, this is it. This is what to give your children for tea parties.
I would call it light and pleasant.
I think that if I had this when I was 4 and I was doing tea parties, I would be very delighted and I would make Mama drink 5 cups of tea, which I already do now, so.
She is obsessed with tea, yes. So actually, this reminds me of a white tea more than a green tea.
It does. It definitely has that lighter. Green teas, in my experience, are, well,
sharper.
I mean, Jasmine is the first green tea I had, so, I mean, I've always loved strong tea. Oh!
What?
That's where the instructions are.
Oh, she found the instructions. Steep 4 to 5 minutes. Spot organic tea. Okay.
So.
You gotta look under the flap.
So the Bai Mudan, it is a white tea, and I do believe I have heard of this.
Smells good.
It has a very subtle kind of. What is that?
Smell?
Hang on, stop for a minute. I'm just gonna pull that out like a psychopath. So.
Do you smell?
It smells more like a green tea than the green tea did. Smell it. I'm stringing it out for you.
Yeah, it's got a stronger smell than the other one.
It's definitely a very nice kind of smell. It's got that brightness that you would sometimes say, oh, this is a white tea. Maybe it'll be bright. But, you don't immediately say, oh, this is going to be bright because it's a white tea.
Color-wise,
I really want to brew some tea lira in this, or tea vive.
I think this will be fun to play with.
I want to do a tea vive session with this.
This is light green. This is the same color as the green tea, really.
Yeah. It's actually really beautiful.
Isn't this cool, though? See-through teapot.
I actually, when I got my money for Christmas, I ended up buying myself some art supplies, a sketchbook and some pencils. But I was looking at a clear teapot. But then I thought, at some point we're going to get a clear teapot. So.
She knows me too well.
So that one, I feel like it's going to have definitely a stronger. So the color, well, the thing.
It's got a nice pour.
Yeah, the thing on
the pour
this is, it looks a lot like just like some plain tea leaves. So I'm thinking this will have kind of like a very tea vive-ish kind of white tea-ish thing.
Okay, very little smell of any sort.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much what I was expecting. Yeah, that's it's got like a tartness almost. It's
a little bit of astringency. Is very, very light.
Ooh, I just got an idea for how we can stop the tea leaves from going in there if we do a gaiwan session with it.
How?
We can put a piece of cheesecloth in there.
Well, we'll probably try it without that first and see if you even need it, because maybe if you're at that level, you don't have to.
Yeah, but Maybe we can just put some cheesecloth right on there and then strain it.
Maybe.
Ideas.
It might destroy the aesthetic. White tea is a delicate, light flavor. It's the least processed of the teas.
Oh, yeah.
So it keeps all your tea stuff intact.
However, matcha is the best if you want the full tea experience because it's literally the full tea leaf.
It's basically going out mowing your lawn and drinking what you have there. As I like to call it, mulcha.
One of these days.
Eventually we'll try that, see how the lawn tastes. You can definitely taste this. It's just very subtle.
Which I do like, but it's just got that kind of meh aftertaste.
So white tea is not your favorite?
That's what it is.
Aftertaste.
No, I love white tea, but this has an aftertaste. So final tea is the Jasmine.
Ooh. Jasmine is a floral kind of thing. So the ingredients in this one are organic green tea, natural jasmine flavor.
Ooh.
How's that smell?
Like jasmine essential oils.
Jasmine has a nice smell, but you don't want too much of it. This smells fabulous. It's highly perfumey.
Very perfumey.
If you ever met a woman who wears jasmine perfume, you think, "Ooh, she smells great," and then 30 minutes later, you think, "Why does she smell that great? Can we smell less great?" So it can be easily overwhelming.
There we go. We're just gonna get all those fumes out of the air.
I once had a woman meet me in the store. I was looking at greeting cards, and she came up behind me, and I smelled her before I saw her. It was a nice smell. And she said, "Hello there." I was like, "Oh, my goodness. Jasmine."
Hi!
Okay, let's smell it while it's brewing, because jasmine is a very strong smell.
That's not half bad, actually.
If you ever use a jasmine air freshener, start out with much less than it says on the container. Otherwise, people are going to walk into your house 3 days later and go, "Whoa, jasmine."
That's kind of like it's the most subtle jasmine tea I've ever smelled. It also has the greenest color.
It appears that these folks do subtlety well. Spot. Now this jasmine is not as overpowering as you might think. It's more subtle, which is good because you don't want a big mouthful of jasmine.
Oh.
I guess some people like perfumey teas.
Not half bad, but I'm not going to drink the whole thing. Because that leaves like a nothingness feel in your mouth. Like somebody's just sucked all of the moisture out of your mouth.
Like if you drank something really hot.
But
yeah, so there's an element of astringency there.
Don't really like it.
But if you want to try jasmine tea, I would say this is a good company to use for an introduction to flavors without overwhelm. We keep looking for new brands of tea to try. And you can keep coming back and look and see what we found. Until we see you again.
Make sure to make time for tea and a good book.